Duquesne here. We're joined by University of Richmond head coach Aaron Roussell and student athletes Addie Budnik and Maggie Doogan. We'll start off with an opening statement from coach, move to questions for the student athletes, and wrap up with questions for coach. So Coach Roussell, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah, speaking of starts, maybe not the best of starts for us. I mean, obviously you're just trying to get a feel for things at the beginning of your game. I can say this now, as confident as you try to be in the game. I don't know if I love the first 3 minutes of just how things were going. I thought they were getting some easier baskets than what we were. Addie was incredible making shots. I just didn't feel like we were getting to the paint like we had kind of talked to, but then that flipped, and that's just a huge credit to our student athletes. Just the want, the desire. I know everybody has that this time of year, but these guys have something special. And it was really cool to watch. We kind of really, I didn't say micromanage, we tried to kind of shrink everything today as we have all season in these big moments of like, don't look at the scoreboard, I'll manage the game at the end of the game. Don't look at the scoreboard, don't look at anything else, don't look at the clock. Win each possession. Do your assignment, win each possession. I think these guys were locked in defensively, and then the offense came a little bit. We got some stuff in transition. Some of the ball screen and transition stuff from Addie today was fantastic. You can look at our offense, right? We score 80 points, all these things. Everybody talks about our offense. I think we kind of got a little bit of an awakening during the George Mason game a few weeks ago. We really had to refocus on our defense, and I think we've been incredibly fantastic ever since.
Thank you, Coach. At this time, we'll take questions for the student athletes.
Addie, for you, Dana from Wayne Penn Talk. Addie, for you, back-to-back games with really strong offensive outputs for you. You were one three short of your career high of made threes. Just talk about your performance today and yesterday as well.
Yeah, we knew last time we played them, the three was open a ton, especially off ball screens. So we knew that was a point of emphasis today, see how they were playing us, and that worked to our advantage. Grace did a great job distributing. We all shared the ball, had energy, and the ball found me on the back end a lot, and I was able to knock those down today.
Zach Joaquin, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Addie and Maggie, you're down 12-8 with 3:19, I think, to play in that first period. What did Coach tell you during that timeout? You guys went on a run and they never led again.
I mean, it's early. There's still a ton of basketball left, so we knew that we just had to collect ourselves in that timeout, pull it together. I don't really know exactly what he said. Probably can't share it, but we knew we were fine. We're older now. We're more poised, confident in one another. We knew we were going to have it. We just had to bring energy. It was going to be. They're a really good team. They match up really well with us, and we rallied around each other. We were able to pull that out.
For both of you, talk about what it's like to play with a floor general like Grace with her court vision, her ball handling. How much easier does it make things for everyone else?
I think I said this last year at the press conference, but Grace has jets like no other. It's actually it's really fun to play with, but it's really insane to watch. I mean, her IQ is through the roof. She knows where people should be, where the ball should be, and she also can take it to the basket whenever she wants. So, I mean, it's really amazing to play with her, and yeah, we're really fortunate to have her.
Natalie Hebron with the Next. For you, Addie, can you just talk about how you've continued to improve your three-point shot over your 4 years at Richmond and how that's ultimately led to helping you so much in this tournament? And then for you, Maggie, how you've watched Addie grow and develop as well?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of time in the gym. Honestly, it's kind of hard with our team to get in the gym. It's so crowded. Just trying to get on the gun, work with coaches, and they've done a great job of developing us and making sure we're able to hit shots within our offense, and that's really paid off just accumulating over these 4 years, and you're seeing it right now.
I mean, Addie Budnik is the best role model that anybody could have coming into college. I was the coolest freshman last year, and Addie really took me under her wing and really was very patient with me. I mean, she really is the best. I look up to her a ton. She's always in the gym. Like, I can't say enough good things about Addie Budnik. She's amazing.
Chris Bauer, Couch Coach Live. Congratulations on the win. Addie, you went 6 for 9 for 3. Just talk about how efficient you were today for the three-point line.
Yeah, like I said earlier, a lot of the ball screen stuff, they started hedging a little bit, and we know that we can slip, we can pop off of those. So Grace, like we said earlier, was amazing at finding those shooters, distributing the ball, and I was just on the back end of that, and I was just hot today, and they just kept feeding me. So.
Addie and Maggie, these aren't home games, but they're pseudo home games. Talk about the environment and how much the crowd lifted you guys today.
We're just so grateful to have a fan base. Over my 4 years, it's grown incredibly. The school's done a great job of marketing and also just bringing people in. And we're so thankful for that. And seeing the crowd show up 40 minutes before tip-off is such a good feeling, and it energizes us. Every time we make a shot, hearing the uproar from the stands, it's great to have that support. It's really carrying us through this tournament.
Mike Castante with CBS 6 here in town for both ladies. You all don't have that many receipts from the regular season with the record that you have, but this was kind of one of them because they got you earlier this year. Does that ever enter your mind that, hey, you know, and I know that I think you all split, but this erases one of them. Does that ever come in? Do you ever talk about that? You don't even think about that? Or just at least think that, hey, they played really well against us once this year. Let's not let that happen again.
I don't think this one erases the loss that we had in the beginning because we learned a lot. You know, we were kind of on a little high. We were 7-0 going into that game, and it taught us a lot. You know, kind of grounded us a little bit and focused on what we needed to work on. I mean, defense was huge. Being in our gaps was huge. And, I mean, yeah, the next 2 wins felt really good, but I feel like we aren't where we are right now without that loss in the beginning.
Thank you, ladies. Maybe dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we will move to coaches for Coach Roussell. Got any questions?
Aaron, you said you don't quite remember, but what can you tell us about the conversations during that timeout in the first period that you guys really took control after that?
Yeah, I mean, contrary to what Addie thought, I thought this was about the calmest, the bench on the floor that they've been. I mean, just you look at this through 31, 32 games, just the poise that these guys have, you know, and they're an older group. It was very tactical, you know, it was very tactical. Just, you know, yeah, we were riding Addie a little bit, and she had a hot hand. We had another, I forget who else had the early one, but it felt like we were just okay, you know, and what were they, 6 for 12, I think at the beginning of it. Just didn't feel like our defense was there, you know, so it was very much like, guys, like the shot is going to come. You know, we talked about that yesterday. When you come into a new environment, like, you can't control whether or not you're making shots. We can control the quality of shot that we get. But like I said, man, you know, we mentioned the Duquesne game. We learned a lot from that. We were grounded. We learned a lot from that. The Mason game, that hurt. Like, that was painful for us to take, and it wasn't a whole lot of sleep. And now you look back and you're like, well, that preparation for Duquesne maybe helped a little bit today because we were so like locked in on that. But it was really just, you know, we got to get back to defense. Like, we can't end our season because we're not playing defense. We've invested too much. We've done everything so well the last 2 weeks. We got to get back to that. And they were almost like, I got you, coach. I got you, coach. And you know, Grace made the steal to kind of, maybe that gave us the lead. I don't think we lost the lead again after that. You can point to a whole bunch of different stuff, but I just thought our kids were out there making plays and feeling comfortable.
You've talked about this a lot, but how do you put into words what Grace does for her teammates in terms of making everything else on the floor easier for them with her court vision?
Incredibly fun to coach. Like, she's just grown to be kind of an extension of, I say extension of coach, and then you're like, oh, extension of me on the court. I don't know if she'll be able to take this as a compliment, but just so much so poised, you know, and maybe this wasn't her a couple of years ago. She got by on quickness, she got by on stuff, and we did some things for her, don't get me wrong. But she's just got control of this. There's a couple times where it was like, either she probably pretended to not hear me, but been trying to call something, and it was almost like, whatever she's got, just go with it. Like, whatever she's got, go with it. So I say this a lot, and Grace will be the first to tell you, she benefits a lot from the people around her. And I mean that as a compliment to her. You know, I think our players complement each other very well. We need Grace out there. She needs the type of players we have, kind of keeping everybody honest. But there's a lot of confidence from me, and there's a heck of a lot of confidence from her teammates, just because of the way that she plays and the way that she carries herself.
Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. Congratulations on the win, Coach. What was the message to your players following this win? And also, how's it feel, championship game tomorrow in the backyard?
Yeah, I mean, first off, you know, the backyard part is incredible, right? Like, this atmosphere has been great. Our administration, I think DCU, give them a shout out. I think they've combined with the A10 to really make this a great environment. I mean, it's raining out there. I heard there's people waiting out in the rain to get in the building. Like, that's incredibly cool for where we are. with all due respect, and I hope we get a chance to kind of celebrate with some fans tomorrow, and the fans were great. This is about everything that this team has done since June to really work towards this, and to maybe extend this beyond, to Addie and all these guys. They came to campus during a global pandemic, right? Like, we weren't allowed to do all the things that these guys, that we wanted to do to build this. And these guys have grinded this thing. They've been incredibly loyal. Maybe I have the time to say this, but look across the country, man. Like 6 of our 7 players today, 6 of our 8 players today are homegrown talent. I don't think there's a whole lot of teams out there that have started every single game with homegrown talent and had the success that we have. So the loyalty, the kind of everything that we've been through, I think that would mean a lot. Been fortunate enough to be in this position before, and I know the dates that we won those championships with those groups, and I get text messages every year on those dates because Coach, and when they start having kids, maybe things change, but Coach, that was the coolest day of my life. Coach, that was the coolest day of my life, thank you. And those group texts mean a million things. Tomorrow, I hope we get that opportunity, but so going back to your question, probably rambled a little bit, told them, you're allowed to enjoy this, man. Enjoy the heck out of this right now. Think about how incredible tomorrow would be. But once that game tips, we're locked in and focused on everything that we can do to make that game our success tomorrow.
Daniel Frank from A10 Talk. Coach, for you, tell me just about the process of building this program up. You've been at Richmond for a couple of years now, and to get to the point where this program's at its first A10 finals appearance since 2009, what has this process been like for you?
One, just incredibly grateful. I think that first year, it has been a build, and people are, hey, you've done this before. Yeah, but it's different, right? Like every spot is different. You maybe gain some confidence because you've done it before, but there's still a leap of faith. There's still a blind loyalty. Administration has been everything that we would have asked them to be. So you have that part. Our kids, I thought we recruited the right kids. I knew what I thought we needed with length and athleticism and ability to shoot the basketball. So we thought we knew what we were doing. And then you get punched in the mouth a few times along the way. There's definitely conversations I can think back to now with our staff of like, all right, we got what we wanted, but is this going to be successful? And so we've taken our lumps, and I think that's why this can be a little bit sweeter for us right now, because we've gotten some lumps there. And so for us, again, I know everybody says it's a build, but you just got to get the right kids. You got to hire the right staff. You got to get the right kids, get the right group around you, the right support system within your university, and now we're all living the fruits of that.
Natalie Hebron with the Next. What goes into the preparation on another short turnaround, especially as the first game playing? Just what's your process over the next 24-ish hours?
Well, I hate to say easier, but there's a little more direct when you're looking at it. And so again, not to go through the whole process, but kind of started last weekend with looking at the other bracket. Who could we see? So let's do some preparation, because if you see them, it's going to be a quick turnaround. So our staff, we did a lot of stuff, and they've continued to do this. My focus maybe Saturday, Sunday, Monday was a little bit on the other side of the bracket, and then you kind of had to dive into the teams that were on your side, almost working backwards. So it hasn't been a lot of sleep, but that's what this time of year is for. Vitamins, not a big caffeine guy, but a lot of vitamins to make sure that staying healthy, and then adrenaline. But our staff has been incredible. It's almost sad when you know how much work they've put into this. And last night you're ripping up scouting reports and threatening to throw it in the fire. And you're like, God, man, we talked about that a lot this week. We thought we had a great plan, and you don't get to use it. So I think for us, obviously, we've played Rhode Island twice, so there's some familiarity there. St. Louis seems like it was a million years ago, but obviously that's a style and a coach that we've known in this area for a while. So I think there is some comfort with what but those teams are vastly different than probably most of the teams that were on our side of the bracket. And so I think we identified that early of the teams on the other side of the bracket play maybe a little bit different style. So we might have to do some things differently, and we'll see what happens out there. But I like the structure of what we have with our staff already in place for those two teams.
Going back to early in the season, how much did you drink to help set you up for this? Because he's given you experience, the back-to-back. People in the underbelly that talk a lot, we're starting to say, but drink's a known commodity in the world.
Mel, you and I have been doing this for a long time, and me even saying that and putting in myself in your category, it's been a really, really long time. But I think you can identify a couple things with the Drake tournament. Scheduling's been really hard. We came into this trying to, and we've put more time into scheduling than I can even imagine anybody else is doing humanly possible. you didn't find a lot of teams out there that were willing to dance. You know, Drake was like, hey, let's put together this tournament. Let's go find some teams that maybe can win their league. We're all going to struggle scheduling. And so you look at that tournament and you're like, all right, we're going to go up there, we're going to play 3 games in 3 days. And if this goes well, we're going to play 3 games in 3 days here in Henrico in March. So everything that we did with that tournament was mimicked, was everything that would be the experience here. With recovery, with how we went into it, with the days off leading up to that, we treated that Friday, Saturday, Sunday as this is preparation for this tournament. You know, and a lot of other things that we did throughout the year, but the quality of opponents, right? Maine won their league, got them. You know, you got to play Drake. So I think the quality of opponents were one thing, but I just thought the routine that we got our kids in, not to sound presumptuous, because you never know if you're going to get to this spot, but we really planned everything to try to mimic everything we're seeing this weekend.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Coach.
And honestly, like seeing